My name is Teddy Jacobson of Actions by T. I am a pistol smith in Sugar Land, Texas. I am a trigger specialist and work on over 100 different models of handgun actions. This tape will be about the selection of reloading equipment. Your selection process will depend on what your ammunition requirements are. If you just want some reloading capability, you can buy very good equipment for a minimum amount of money. I will explain it all to you in complete detail and make it all very clear. I have no agenda or ulterior motive. My only intent is honesty and integrity. During the course of this video, I would like you to get a pen and paper ready, as I am going to give you some phone numbers to write down where you can purchase your reloading supplies. I'm going to work off a checklist because this is a very, very involved subject, and most of the things you read are designed to confuse you. I'm not going to confuse you. I'm going to make it crystal clear. I have been reloading ammunition for over 40 years. I started, I knew nothing. It is essential, though, that before you buy any reloading equipment, you personally must decide what your intent is. Will it be a hobby? Will it be for reloading small quantities of ammo? Or somebody that might want to just have the capability of making ammo in an emergency. Let's say the government restricts the sale of ammo, or they ban the shipments of ammo. With the purchase of some small quantities of reloading equipment, you essentially will have an ammunition factory. And you do not need expensive equipment to do this. If you want, you got to ask yourself, do you want super great quantities of ammo? That's important. Do you want to crank out 1,000 rounds per hour? You got to ask yourself. Will you use new brass to make and store first-class ammo? That's another question. Or do you just want to reload used cases? Many people just want the capability of reloading at some future time if ammunition dries up. And that's probably a good percentage of the people that would be interested in my video. My first hand-loading tool was a Lyman 310 tool. That's this right here. This is the first reloading tool I ever owned, and I still have it. It's a Lyman 310, and it reloads 30-06 cases and bullets. And it works very well, but there are drawbacks because it only neck resizes. Let me explain this. When you fire a bullet, that case expands. So now you get an empty case. Doesn't matter if I show you a case. You fire a bullet, you get an empty case, and to reload it, you have to bring it back to its original size. So you have to resize it. Now there are some tools, hand tools made by Lee and Lyman, that are very good, but they just neck resize bottleneck cases. We're going to talk mainly about pistol cases, handgun ammunition. If you fire a bullet, you've got to resize that handgun case to its original factory dimensions. Critical. Because if you take it from one gun to another, if you don't do that, it won't fit in the chamber in some guns. So, for instance, if you fire your bullet, let's say a Smith & Wesson revolver, and then you want to go and reload it without resizing the case, and you try to put it in, say, a Torres or a Rossi or a Dan Wesson, well, it may not fit. It may be tight going in the chamber. So every case that's fired has to be resized. I'll get into this as we talk. For a minimum amount of money, all you need is a single stage press. When I say single stage press, I'm talking about a press that just accommodates one die. And as we get a close-up of this, you'll see there's just one die. This is a C press. This is my favorite type of press. It was originally brought out by Pacific Reloading Company back in the 1930s, I believe. And it was an excellent press. There's no question about it. A lot of people, for pistols, a C press is ideal. You can see better what you're doing. I'll explain this as we talk. So for every operation of a single stage press, after you're through with one particular die, then you take your second die, you take this one out, you put the second one in. When you're finished with your second operation, you put your third one in. And if there happens to be a fourth die, you take the third one out, put the fourth one in. It's slow, it's time consuming, but you can make excellent ammunition. So you're going to need a press, and I'm going to go over with you what kind of presses there are. You're going to need dies for a specific caliber. So for instance, if you have a .38 Special you want to reload for a revolver, you would the .357 and .38 Special and .357 Magnum dies are used for both calibers. It's just a question of a die adjustment, because the .357 case is only 1/10 of an inch longer than the .38 Special case. So it's a die adjustment. If you want to load 9mm straight wall cases, you need a set of dies for that. I'm going to go into that. You also need a shell holder for a specific caliber. What a shell holder is, all it does is hold your case. I'm going to show you what a shell holder looks like. This is a shell holder. We'll get a close-up of it. That is a shell holder. They come in all sizes, all calibers, and they fit into your press, the ram of your press. So that shell holder would fit in this direction. On here, so you can slip the case in. That's what the shell holder is for. Now, you're going to also need a scale of some kind, mechanical or electronic. I never owned an electronic scale. I don't reload much anymore, but mechanical scales will work fine for what you need. If I was going to do a lot of reloading, I would not hesitate to buy an electronic scale. Either they plug into electricity, providing you have electricity. In hard times, we don't know. Otherwise, you might be better off with a good mechanical scale. I'm going to show you all these things. And if you wanted to load a little quicker, you would need a powder measure. A powder measure does things in quantity. You push it, you turn it down, and it drops a charge. The trouble is, how accurate are these powder measures? I'm going to discuss that with you. So, for a minimum amount of reloading, you only need a single stage press, a set of dies per each specific caliber, a shell holder, and a scale, basically, and a bench to mount your press. I'm going to have Mike show you this press. This is one of my old presses. I've had this from the 60s. It's a Lyman C-type press. I've loaded thousands of rounds with this press. It's excellent. There is not a thing wrong with it. It takes a little longer. The ammunition I make is absolutely every bit as good as your any press you would buy. No question about it. Now, we're going to now get some close-ups of this, and I'm going to show you some things here. For instance, handgun dies. Some companies sell 3 die sets, and some companies, as we look further down, I'll get to that, sell 4 die sets, and I'll explain why and what the difference is. But this is a C-press, as I said. It's opened. You have fully access with your hands, and your eye visibility without bending your head down and hurting your neck is far better with a C-press. I'm gonna rotate these sheets, and we're gonna go through them. This is another C-press, but this is an R